My name is Brad. Brad Kofoid from Natuzzi, and I want to start off with a big thank you, ladies. I appreciate your business. Thank you very, very much. You guys do a great job with our stuff. So my job here today is to help you understand and remember a little bit about the Natuzzi company themselves, also a little bit about our construction, but the most important thing that I want to really get across today is a good understanding of leather as a general product category. It's a really important thing for the consumer today. It fits into everybody's lifestyle, whether you are a sophisticated customer that enjoys the idea of sophistication of leather, or whether you are a family customer that needs the durability of leather. Leather is perfect for everybody, and so I'm going to kind of show you how and why and the best way to sell leather across the board. So let's start off by talking a little bit about Natuzzi in general as a manufacturer. And Natuzzi's been around for quite some time. You're probably familiar with it. If there is any brand name in leather furniture at all, that brand name would be Natuzzi. Here we saved you a seat, Marie. How are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you.
We are the probably only brand name in leather furniture in today's marketplace today. We've been around for almost 50 years, or a little over 50 years. What? Oh, two more, absolutely. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to cheat you guys. There you go. No problem. As I said, Natuzzi is the one name. If there is a brand name in leather furniture, Natuzzi would be the one. There is probably the best brand recognition in this particular category. We've been around for the longest and are quite frankly the largest. We are the leather leader in across the globe. We are a global manufacturer, basically meaning we make our stuff all over the world. We're an Italian-based manufacturer. Our home base is in Italy, but we have facilities in not only Eastern Europe, we also have facilities in Brazil and obviously in China. We have 12 different factories across the globe, and we are actually do business in over 44 different countries. We do about $144 million worth of business overall, so you can get an idea that we are definitely the leather leader, do a lot of it. So just to give you an idea. Like I said, we were founded in 1959 by Pasquale Natuzzi, who actually works in the factory still every single day when he's in town. He actually lives across the street from the factory, built his house right across the street so he could be there every day, and is still a very big part of the company. As a large global manufacturer, and it is a global world today, you have to compete on a global basis. When you're that big, it's important to be vertically integrated. At Natuzzi, we are over 92% vertically integrated. Vertical integration basically means that the raw material that goes into your product, you make and provide yourself. So 92% of all the materials that go into the Natuzzi product, we manufacture ourselves. That gives us a huge advantage, obviously, from a cost standpoint. If you're making it for yourself, you can have a cost advantage. But the other advantage that it gets is from a quality standpoint. We're able to control the quality of the product that we make by making the raw material at a certain standard. Now, when you're making the materials and making the product all over the world, it's important to maintain consistency. We maintain the consistency through an ISO certification. Actually, we hold 2 ISO certifications. I think we're the only furniture manufacturer that I'm familiar with that actually holds 2 ISO certifications. And does everybody know what an ISO certification is? Just going to ask me. Well, I'm glad you asked me, because ISO certification, ISO stands for International Standard of Operation. Okay? It is an organization of 145 different countries around the globe. We do live in a global economy. It's important to maintain a quality standard that's equal around the globe. So what that basically means is that our product is certified quality standpoint from the way we manufacture it in all. It's a global certification. So not just like California or Illinois or the United States. It's certified quality across the globe. And that ISO certification is an ISO certification 9001. What that is a certification of manufacturing excellence. Basically means that everything that we make in every one of our facilities is made at the same quality level. Okay, so whether it's made in Italy or it's made in Romania or it's made in China, the stuff comes out exactly the same, made at the same quality standards in every single facility. And we're able to achieve that by making every single piece at a certain standard. And that standard is finished off by this ID number that is applied to every single piece of Natuzzi furniture that comes off the line. This ID number is applied at the very end of the production cycle. And this little ID number here is specific to this piece only. So only this piece has this number, and by tracking that number back to the actual time that it was made, who made it, I track that number all the way back to actual raw material that went into this piece. What that does is, it doesn't mean the piece is going to come out perfect every time, but it means that if there is an issue with the piece, I'm able to track it back all the way back to the raw material to make it better the next time. That's what that ISO 9001 certification does for us. It keeps our quality standard at a high level all the time, no matter where it comes from. So we get an idea that all the stuff, so if there's a service issue, maybe I need a part, maybe I have a problem, I have to submit this little number with every single service that I ever have. And so we're able to track back to the very beginning how to fix this stuff. It's important to make it right with your customer, but it's even more important to make it right the next time. And that's what that ISO certification does for us. Now, the other ISO certification that we hold is an ISO 14001. And the 14001 certification is a certification of environmental responsibility. And, quite frankly, everybody's into the green thing these days. I mean, come on, we're all eating organic bananas, we're driving Chevy Volts. I mean, it's all about being green right now, isn't it? Yeah. Well, we've been green for many, many years. The fact of the matter is, when you sell leather furniture, you are selling the greenest product that you have in this whole building, okay? Recognize that leather furniture is the most environmentally friendly furniture that you can sell. Leather is a byproduct of the beef industry. Recognize that all the hides are never harvested for the skin itself. They're only a byproduct of the beef industry. In other words, the last time you went to McDonald's or you ate at Ruth Chris, when was the last time you went to Morton's? You were making leather furniture. Those hides are all harvested for the beef industry, not for the leather furniture itself. So it's a green product to start with. But Mr. Natuzzi, he's an outdoorsman. He's been into the green thing for many, many years. We've been ISO 14001 certified for many years, way before it was popular. And at the end of the day, the customer isn't going to buy the furniture because it's green. They're going to buy the furniture because it sits like a dream, it feels terrific, it looks terrific, it's priced terrific. They're going to buy it because of the way they like it and the way they live. But your job as a professional is to let them know, make them feel good about what they bought because it is a green product. So use that green certification for the tool that it really is. Make them feel good about what they picked out, okay? So that's what the 14001 certification is. Anybody have any questions about us as a company or anything about the Natuzzi Corporation?
Just one thing that you mentioned, the ISO, you said there's only 2 in that category that you know?
Well, no, I said that we are the only furniture company that I know of that holds both of those certifications, okay? There are many ISO certifications, but we hold both a 9001 and a 14001, okay? Any other good questions? Let me talk a little bit about our construction. Here they are. The Natuzzi construction, and since you guys have been selling it for quite some time, you probably know most of this information, but we'll give you a quick review on it. Our Natuzzi construction basically starts with the frame on the inside, and we use what they call a unified frame construction. And a unified frame construction, there you go, absolutely, Ron. Unified frame construction basically means that we use, it's a fancy way to say that we use a lot of different materials in our frame construction. We use not only European and Asian hardwoods, but we use engineered lumber, we use different masonite materials. We actually build the frame, and then we wrap the entire frame with masonite boards. And what that does is that gives us a nice hard side and hard back to the frame. And if you're not showing your customer this when you're presenting the Natuzzi product, you're not taking full advantage of our construction. That hard-sided piece isn't the same as everybody else's. It gives nice structure to the frame itself, but when you pad the side like that, okay, now touch the side again, and you'll find that it's not only hard, but it's soft. Because after we wrap the frame in masonite, then we wrap the entire frame with foam. And what that does is that protects the frame and the leathers from the inside out. okay? So it's hard and soft-sided at the same time. But show your customers that, because it's a great selling tool when you're on the floor to show them the extra beef that we have in our stuff. That talks a little bit about the frame. The other thing that I like to talk about is our seating. And our seating system is a web seat construction. Everybody familiar with the web seat construction? The web seat construction is one of our major advantages. You know, Natuzzi has been selected by Architectural Digest for the last 5 years in a row as #1 in seating comfort. Okay, it's kind of bragging rights, but in the meantime, it's something we're kind of proud of, and we achieved that seating comfort in a couple of different ways. First way is through our web seat construction. Recognize that when you're making all these different shapes and sizes, you have to use variable seating comforts. In other words, sometimes if you use the drop-in coil unit, you wouldn't be able to get the same seating comfort in every single piece. This corner is going to sit differently than the chase sits, and the chair is going to sit differently than the one-arm love seat's going to sit. So what we're able to do with this web seat construction, besides the fact that it's super durable, never wears out, never squeaks, never creaks, okay, I'm able to stretch these webs independently and specially for each version that we sell. So each piece achieves the ultimate in seating comfort, okay? That's one of the seating comfort secrets behind the Natuzzi product. But what the real secret and what I really think is the best about the web seat construction, and you have other pieces on your floor that are made with the web seat construction, am I right? Yeah? Okay, well I'm giving you special permission right now to use this presentation on anything that has the web seat construction, okay? I give you permission right now, because the web seat construction does more than just give you great seating comfort. It also adds to the structural rigidity of the frame. Can you say that fast 5 times? Probably not, I couldn't either. Adds to the structural rigidity of the frame, okay? Basically what that means is, as you can see by the piece here, the web's connected from the front rail to the back rail, from the side rail to the side rail, and then it's woven in between. So when you sit down in the seat, you're actually drawing that frame together. You are adding to the structural rigidity of the frame as you sit in it. Okay? See how that kind of draws the frame together? That's an added construction feature to the web seat that most people don't take advantage of. It not only gives you great comfort, but it adds to the structure of the frame. Now you'll notice that I did not use the terminology Pirelli webbing, right? Everybody's familiar with Pirelli webbing. Pirelli is a brand name. Pirelli is actually the guy who invented the web deal. He invented it for the automobile industry, Maserati, Ferrari, Porsche, all the big time brands. That's what they use. Pirelli makes his own webs. I'm 92% vertically integrated. These are Natuzzi webs. They're made the same. It's the same idea, so you have an understanding that's what this stuff is. Okay? Any questions about the web seat? No, I ordered this at Christmas time and it kind of came out like that, so I don't know. There really is no different at all. The other way we achieve the ultimate in seating comfort is that we use what they call a variable density seat core. And everybody who asks me, well, what's the density of your seat cushion? And quite frankly, we use a different seat cushion in almost every one of our pieces. In order to achieve the perfect seating, you have to use a different seat core in this kind of a frame than you do in that kind of a frame or in that kind of a frame. And in many cases, we actually use 2 different seat cores in some of our frames. As you see on the diagram that I handed out, some of them are actually cut on the bias, where we use a firmer density in the back of the seat, back there where you need a little extra density, and then in the front we use a little softer density where it wraps around your knee and your calf, where it's a little softer up in the front. So we use a variable density seat core. If you have to quote a number, and a lot of customers want to hear a number, use 2.2. That is our median density and what most of them average out to, but it is truly a variable density seat core, and that's how we achieve the ultimate in seating comfort. Okay? Any questions on the construction? That kind of covers the waterfront in as much detail as you probably need for most consumers. So that kind of covers the construction part of the presentation. And what I really want to talk about today, and I think is the most important as the leather leader, is to be sure that everybody is totally comfortable with the leather category itself. And presenting leather to the consumer today, because quite frankly, the consumer today is very, very confused. There's a lot of products that are being purveyed on the market as leather furniture that aren't even close to being leather furniture, and you have the real deal here. Natuzzi Editions is all leather, all Italian leather, okay? And it should be presented as Italian leather furniture, okay? If you're not taking advantage of the fact that all the leathers come from Italy and that it is Italian leather furniture, you're missing an opportunity to give the customer what they're really looking for. They understand that Italian leather is a little higher grade. I mean, people know Gucci and all of that stuff. The finest leathers all come from Italy, as do all the leathers that come on the Natuzzi product, okay? It might not necessarily be made in Italy, but the leathers all come from Italy. So you can present it as Italian leather furniture, okay? But the important thing when you're presenting leather furniture of any kind is to present the leather not by the grade. That's where everybody makes the big mistake. They sell it by the grade. And the last thing you should sell leather furniture by is by the grade. The grade is the least important thing when it comes to selling leather furniture. When you sell leather furniture, you should sell the leather furniture two different ways. First, and most importantly, is how the customer is going to use the leather, okay? What's their lifestyle? Are they a family with 2 different kids, 3 dogs, and one of the kids acts like a dog? Okay, you know who I'm talking about, okay? Or is it the sophisticated customer that's been on the internet and she came in, she wants the highest grade of leather you have, but she also is Miss Matchy-Matchy. She wants every single seat and back to match exactly the same. You ever meet that customer? You probably meet her once or twice a week, I'll bet, right? Okay, those are the 2 different customers you have to be aware of, and you have to be able to sell the leather furniture to them in the way they're going to use the furniture and or understand the leather category, okay? It's not about the grade. It's about the type of leather it is. As the leather leader, Natuzzi breaks their stuff down, obviously by grade, but the more importantly, we break it down into 2 different categories, Protecta and Natural. And the naturals are tanned in such a fashion that the natural characteristics of the leather are made to show out. The differences in the grain, the differences in the natural markings, the scars and things are made to show out. There is a customer out there that's sophisticated enough to understand and wants that type of a thing. And I've brought a couple of samples here for you to take a look at. It's sort of a little show and tell. I've got a piece of a raw leather hide. This is what it looks like when it comes to our factories in Italy. It's kind of rough and gruff, but that's the way we get it when we first get it. I brought a couple other samples just for fun. I've also brought what they call a hair-on hide. This is a specialty leather. This has been tanned with the fur still on it. The hair of the cow is still attached there. Kind of a different look. That's only used in accent pieces, ottomans, or little cushions and stuff. But that gives you an idea of some of the different types of leather that are out there. The 2 most important types of leather are these that I've got spread out on the ottoman. And I want everybody to take a really close look here, because this is where the presentation really gets specific to what I'm talking about here. And hopefully the cameraman can catch the differences here on these naturals. I want to be sure that everybody takes a close look here. Can you see the differences between these different pieces here? I want you to notice the grain of this piece here. See how the grain is different here? See how different it looks from this piece here? Okay, notice the difference in the color of this piece right here as to the color of that piece right there. Can you see how different this is from that is? Okay, what the most interesting thing is, if when you turn this over, you would see that this is a fully number 2549. But you know what, when you turn this one over here, this is also a fully number 2549. The point I'm trying to make, that all of these pieces are the exact same leather. So if this came on your seat and this came on the back, that would not be a defect, my friends. That is a natural leather, and that is the way it's supposed to look. And if your customer is sophisticated enough to understand that that's what that's supposed to be, okay, they're going to want that. But if you're not professional enough to point those differences out and explain to them that that's how it could be, okay, You're not doing yourself or your customer a service. Now,
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure you could, Ron.
Will your seating be the same, or that could even change? Each seat could be a different one, too.
Absolutely.
So it could be a real mix.
Could be a real mix. Now, I want to be clear about this, Ron. I had to look through about 85 different swatches to find this difference, okay? And the reality of it is, that's why I bring this hide over here. This blanket is a little better illustration of what the differences of a natural would be. If you take a look here, you see the checkerboard in this one here? Okay, it's nowhere near as gross as what I put out there on the ottoman, but you can see the variation here. This is a natural also, and this much variation between seat and back and arm can certainly be made with a natural. But understand, there are many customers out there that are sophisticated enough to want that. Fact of the matter is, I also brought some samples of some brand marks. You see how that shows out there? Okay, I actually have customers where they get a sofa that's got a brand mark on the back, and the love seat came without a brand mark. She called me up and said, Brad, how come my love seat doesn't have a brand mark? I want the brand mark. Can you get me one with a brand mark? Well, of course I can't. But that shows that there are customers out there that actually like the sophistication. They understand what the stuff really is. That's the real deal, okay? And there's many customers out there that want that, okay? But truth be told, most of our customers don't want that, okay? Most of our customers don't understand that, okay? Most of our customers want a protected leather. That's the difference. This is natural, these are protectors. These all look the same. See, the grain is identical in every single one of those. See, the color is identical in every single one of those, okay? That is what they call a protector. And that's what I'm talking about. This is a 15 grade. This is a 25 grade. Is the better grade the better leather? Not for the right customer. You have to sell the customer on how they're going to use the leather, how they understand the leather. It's very important that you help the customer make the right choice. They come in many times not really understanding. They think the better grade, the higher grade is the better leather. It depends on how they're going to use it and how they understand it. Many customers want this, okay? Most customers will understand this better, okay? So you have to be a professional and show them the difference between a protector and a natural. Now, we have naturals and protectors in all of our assortment, and it's clearly marked on the swatches, so you always know what you got. It says right on the swatch, protector, okay? And it says on the swatch, natural, okay? And so you know that there's going to be a little difference in the way the face looks. You're going to know that there's going to be a little variation more in the naturals than in the protectors. And quite honestly, your buying department knows well enough. You'll know that almost everything on your floor is protector. We know that that's what we sell the most. But there's a huge special order business out there. You just need to be smart about how you show that special order business, okay? And that you show your customer what they really want. Because the truth of the matter is, it costs me more money to make the protected leathers, okay? For me to make it look this nice, it costs me more to produce. The natural leathers are easier and less expensive for me to produce, but because I have less finishing steps here, but because the raw material that I buy has to be purer or more, we buy it by the square inch, not by the yard. And so the usable square inches are more expensive with the natural leathers than they are with this. With this, I'm able to buff it, I'm able to emboss it, I'm able to color it. So it actually, there's more usable square inches on some of those hides than there would be on this hide. You see, on this hide, I've got all of this stuff here that I'd have to work out. Where on a natural hide, I would have about this much usable square inches. So you understand how the material is more expensive. And that's what creates the grades, not in the way the leather is produced. Okay? Isn't that interesting? It's kind of opposite of what you would think. But the reality of it is, the most important thing is, and what you really need to be able to show your customer is the difference between naturals and protectors. Okay? Does everybody understand that? That's a natural. You're absolutely correct. That's like really natural. Exactly right. And that's the only natural you have on your floor, and you actually sell it very well. There's a handful of customers that really dig it. And if they understand it and they want it, that's the 590. It's the Winchester. But yeah, right. It goes, yeah, not really. Bomber jacket. I mean, it just, natural is the safest, best way to call it. But if they want to call it bomber jacket, call it bomber jacket. You know, it is what it is. But that's the most important thing, and that's really the way you have to sell it. Again, like I said, you never sell leather by the grade. You sell leather by how the customer is going to use it and how sophisticated the customer is in their understanding of what a natural product really is. All right? Okay. That's the most important thing. I also have one other quick handout for you, and this comes with a little quiz. I'm going to give everybody a little quiz. Everybody loves the quizzes, don't they? I love quizzes. I hated quizzes when I was a kid. I hate quizzes now. And this is nothing you have to write down, but this is a fun little question, and this will really test your knowledge. I'm going to ask one quick question from everybody, and I want to see who could tell me the difference between a pure aniline hide. Okay, listen closely. This is not a trick, but it's, you need to know the difference between a pure aniline hide and a semi-aniline hide. Who can tell me the difference between a pure aniline hide and a semi-aniline hide? Anybody want to take a shot? It's not on the page, so don't even try and cheat. Everybody's looking at the page feverishly. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? It's not on there. Sorry, Ron. I wasn't going to. No, you can. You can look it up on your phone faster. That's exactly right. No. Give me another guess.
Say aniline.
There's something done to it.
It does have to do with something's done to it. One more guess.
Isn't aniline dyed all the way through?
And that's what 99% of the people believe. That's what I always thought for many, many years. Actually, what it is, and very simply, a pure aniline hide is a hide that has only been dyed, okay, and nothing else done to it. A pure aniline hide has only been dyed with no correction, no buffing, no embossing, no additional coloring steps, only put in the vat of dye and then taken out and dried. Okay? That's a pure aniline hide. That's basically raw leather with color only. Okay?
Most expensive.
It is the most expensive. It is also the least durable. It is also, I mean, we don't even have a single one of them in our assortment. You only need to look at it for it to start changing color. I mean, it's not kidding. You look at it and it starts changing, okay? Every time you pass by it and rub it with your fingers, it starts to change color. It is not very useful. It's super expensive, and most customers don't understand it. A semi-aniline hide is any hide that has been corrected in any form or fashion. Any type of embossing, any type of buffing, any type of additional finishing to the surface in a form of protection or any type of modeling makes it a semi-aniline hide. It is the most misunderstood terminology in the whole leather industry. I personally didn't know the right answer to that question until I was about 15 years into the business. Since I've been with Natuzzi, I happen to learn the right stuff, but everybody makes that mistake. It is so, I mean, it sounds like it is very confusing, and believe me, and nobody so far has guessed it correctly, okay? John said he knew, but he didn't say it, so I'm not giving him full credit for it, okay? Yeah, I know he does. So I think he really did, but he didn't say, and he knows pretty much. So, but he didn't say it. He didn't say it out loud, so I'm not giving him full credit for it. But the fact of the matter is, semi-aniline means that it's been corrected in some form or fashion. Full aniline or pure aniline is a hide that has not been corrected at all. Okay? It's really important for you as a professional to know that difference, because believe me, if you guys don't know it, your customer definitely doesn't know it. Okay? Semi-aniline sounds like it's dyed only partway through. The reality of it is, aniline is only a clear chemical that is part of the dyeing cocktail. Okay, the colors and the dye that we put in the big vat where we dye the leathers, they're put in these big heavy drums, and the leathers are put in big large pieces, and they're tumbled around in the drum. So the leather goes, I mean, the color goes all over. It goes on all sides. I mean, it's all over it. So it's not like it's only on the top surface and not all the way through. The aniline is only a chemical that helps the dye absorb into the leather. Aniline is like what peroxide is to hair color. peroxide in hair color makes the color go into your hair. I should probably try some. What do you think? I know. If I had enough hair, I'd bother with it, but I don't. In the meantime, aniline is the same kind of thing that works in the leather furniture, okay? It makes the leather absorb the color. So pure aniline is just the fact that it's just the aniline dye is all that they've applied to it. No buffing, okay? It's semi-aniline. Somehow they call that anything that's been more corrected, okay? So there's a lot of other good terminology on this sheet. Any other questions about leather? I hope everybody's got a little better understanding, learned a couple things about leather there. Is that good stuff or not? Okay, did it help a little bit? Okay, good refresher. Everybody needs some of those details, okay?